This facility was built by the Air Force about 20 years ago to study the ionosphere, to do active experiments in the ionosphere.
Gander Garbi of Tunisia captures a strange circular formation of clouds.
Yeah, again, the term geoengineering, aka chemtrails, the layman's term for what we see happening in the skies, but this is weather modification on a global scale. In fact, these programs are so large and so all-encompassing that all other weather modification programs that go on a smaller regional basis are virtually, they're negated by the scope and scale of the global geoengineering programs.
Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will care for itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own.
Shalom, family, and welcome to this new day. Hallelujah. We give Yah thanks and praise for giving us this moment to be with Him and to join as one here on Shepherd and Sheep. This is not a lesson today, but another straight talk to walk closer with the Chief Shepherd, ABBA YAH. We saw in the prelude that man is tampering with the weather. People are feeling the pressure from the leaders of this world and are unsure why these things are happening and what to do about them. All the things going on today have been going on for thousands of years, so there's nothing new under the sun. Some of the chosen have lost focus and have gone into fear. So we're here to lead those sheep back to the pasture of the Chief Shepherd, just as Romans 15 verses 1 and 2 instructs us to do. To understand why so much is taking place in the world today, we must first go back in time to when our people were in Mitzrayim, known to us today as Egypt.
And all those who were descendants of Yaakov were 70 beings, as Yosef was already in Mitzrayim. And Yosef died, and all his brothers and all that generation. And the children of Yisrael bore fruit and increased very much, multiplied and became very strong. And the land was filled with them. Then a new sovereign arose over Mitzrayim, who did not know Yosef. And he said to his people,
There are too many of those Israelites in our country, and they are becoming more powerful than we are. If our country goes into war, they could easily fight on the side of our enemies and escape from Egypt.
So they appointed slave masters over them to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh supply cities, Pithom and Raamses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they increased and grew. And they were in dread of the children of Yisrael. And the Mitzrites made the children of Yisrael serve with harshness. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar, and in brick, and in all kinds of work in the field. All their work which they made them do was with harshness. Then the sovereign of Mitzrayim spoke to the Ivri midwives, of whom the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said,
When you deliver the Ivri women and see them on the birth stool, if it is a son, then you should put him to death. But if it's a daughter, then she shall live.
But the midwives revered Elohim, and did not do as the sovereign of Mitzrayim commanded them, and kept the male children alive. So the sovereign of Mitzrayim called for the midwives and said to them,
Why have you done this and kept the male children alive?
And the midwives said to Pharaoh,
Because the Ivri women are not like the Mitzrite women, for they are lively and give birth before the midwives come to them.
So Elohim was good to the midwives, and the people increased and became very numerous. And it came to be, because the midwives revered Elohim, that he provided households for them. And Pharaoh commanded all his people, saying,
Throw every son who is born into the river, and keep alive every daughter.
So the descendants of Yaakov, Jacob, began to populate and become very strong. We just saw in Exodus chapter 1 that out of fear, the new sovereign of Mitzrayim enslaved Israel. Our forefathers, through enslavement, built Pharaoh's supply cities. We also saw that the male children were to be killed, but the more Israel was inflicted, the more they grew. This must be ringing a bell and reminding us of some things that are going on right now around us. But to get a deeper understanding of what's happening, let's jump into the quick version of chapter 5 through 14 in these next 9 minutes.
Mosheh and Aharon went in and said to Pharaoh,
Let my people go into the desert, so they can honor me with a celebration there. Who is this, and why should I obey him? I refuse to let you and your people go.
And Yahweh said to Mosheh,
Now see what I do to Pharaoh, for with a strong hand he is going to let them go, and with a strong hand he is going to drive them out of his land. I am Yahweh. Speak to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, all that I say to you.
So Mosheh and Aharon went in to Pharaoh, and they did so, as Yahweh commanded. And Aharon threw his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. But Pharaoh also called the wise men and the practicers of witchcraft, and they, the magicians of Mitzrayim, also did so with their magic. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he did not listen to them, as Yahweh had said. And Mosheh and Aharon did so, as Yahweh commanded. And he lifted up the rod and struck the waters that were in the river. And all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood, and the fish that were in the river died. And the river stank, and the Mitzrites were unable to drink the water of the river. And the blood was in all the land of Mitzrayim. And the magicians of Mitzrayim did the same with their magic. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not listen to them, as Yahweh had said. So Aharon stretched out his hand over the waters of Mitzrayim, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Mitzrayim. And the magicians did so with their magic, and brought up frogs on the land of Mitzrayim. And when Pharaoh saw that there was relief, he hardened his heart, and did not listen to them, as Yahweh had said. And Aharon stretched out his hand with his rod, and struck the dust of the earth. And it became gnats on man and beast. And the magicians did similarly with their magic to bring forth gnats, but they were unable. And there were gnats on man and beast. And thick swarms of flies came into the house of Pharaoh, and into his servants' houses, and into all the land of Mitzrayim. And the land was ruined because of the swarms of flies. But Pharaoh hardened his heart at this time too, and did not let the people go. And Yahweh said to Mosheh,
Go into Pharaoh and speak to him. Thus said Yahweh, Elohim of the Ivrim, let my people go, so that they serve me. For if you refuse to let them go and still hold them, see, the hand of Yahweh is on your livestock in the field, on the horses, on the donkeys, on the camels, on the cattle, and on the sheep, a very grievous pestilence.
And Yahweh did this word on the next day, and all the livestock of Mitzrayim died. But of the livestock of the children of Yisrael, not one died. But the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people go. So they took ashes from the furnace and stood before Pharaoh. And Mosheh scattered them toward the Shamayim, and they caused boils breaking out in sores on man and beast. And the magicians were unable to stand before Mosheh because of the boils, for the boils were on the magicians and on all the Mitzrites. But Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he did not listen to them. Then Mosheh stretched out his rod toward the Shamayim, and Yahweh sent thunder and hail, and fire came down to the earth, and Yahweh rained hail on the land of Mitzrayim. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, there was no hail. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the children of Israel go, as Yahweh had said through Mosheh. And Mosheh stretched out his rod over the land of Mitzrayim, and Yahweh brought an east wind on the land all that day and all that night. Morning came, and the east wind brought the locusts. And the locusts went up over all the land of Mitzrayim, and settled within all the borders of Mitzrayim, very grievous. And they covered the surface of all the land, so that the land was darkened. And they ate every plant of the land, and all the fruit of the trees which the hail had left. However, Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he did not let the children of Israel go. And Mosheh stretched out his hand toward the Shamayim, and there was thick darkness in all the land of Mitzrayim for 3 days. They did not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days, while all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. However, Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he did not let the children of Israel go out of his land.
I have come to let you know, about midnight he will go through the land of Egypt, and wherever he goes, the firstborn son in every family will die. Your own son will die, and so will the son of the lowest slave woman. Even the firstborn males of your cattle will die. Everywhere in Egypt there will be loud crying. Nothing like this has ever happened before, or will ever happen again. But there won't be any need for the Israelites to cry. Things will be so quiet that not even a dog will be heard barking.
However, Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he did not let the children of Israel go out of his land. And it came to be at midnight that Yahweh smote all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim. And Pharaoh rose up in the night.
Get your people out of my country and leave us alone. Go and worship as you have asked. Take your sheep, goats, and cattle and get out, but ask your God to be kind to me.
And they departed from Succoth and camped in Etham at the edge of the wilderness. And Yahweh went before them by day in a column of cloud to lead the way, and by night in a column of fire to give them light, so as to go by day and night. And Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and he pursued the children of Yisrael. But the children of Yisrael went out with a high hand, and Mosheh stretched out his hand over the sea. And Yahweh caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Yisrael went into the midst of the sea on dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them on their right and on their left. And the Mitzrites pursued and went after them into the midst of the sea, all the horses of Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen. And Mosheh stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its usual flow at the break of day, with the Mitzrites fleeing into it. Thus Yahweh overthrew the Mitzrites in the midst of the sea, and the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen, and all the army of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them, and not even one was left of them. And the children of Yisrael walked on dry ground in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on their right and on their left. Thus Yahweh saved Yisrael that day out of the hand of the Mitzrites, and Yisrael saw the Mitzrites dead on the seashore. And Yisrael saw the great work which Yahweh had done in Mitzrayim. And the people revered Yahweh and believed Yahweh and his servant Mosheh.
Now, we just saw how the sovereign used magicians to reproduce the serpent and 2 of the plagues. Pharaoh had them turn water into blood and reproduce the frogs. Reproducing what Yah had done only hurt Mitzrayim, the Egyptians. Yah kept his chosen safe from the harm of his handiwork and the harm the Egyptians did to themselves. The first 9 plagues came in 3 cycles of 3. Within each of the 3 cycles, Moses warns Pharaoh of the first 2 plagues and gives him time to change his mind. Each time, the 3rd plague in each cycle comes without warning. Notice also, there were times that Yah hardened Pharaoh's heart. Finally, there's the 10th plague, the most terrible of all, the death of the firstborn. Also take notice that after Yisrael was saved, that their enemies were all killed. This is just a straight talk about the Pharaohs of today, who tamper with Yah's handiworks, also enslaving and killing his chosen people. We saw in the prelude that the man has tampered with the weather, and now we have record-setting natural disasters, as the world calls it.
Now let's turn to that other headline story, because scientists from the European Union say last month was the hottest January on record.
The wildfires in Los Angeles are among the worst this year, but why are they spreading so fast and causing so much damage?
On February 3rd, 2025, Torremolinos, a town on the Costa del Sol in Andalusia, Spain, suffered severe flooding due to intense rainfall.
Man is trying to reproduce Yah's creations.
We've seen reports about a pet cloning clinic in the UK, where owners can pay thousands of pounds to bring their pets back from the dead in the form of a clone.
GM stands for genetically modified, which is the process of changing the genes of a living thing to alter its characteristics.
We are now on the verge of witnessing the immense capabilities of Optimus, Tesla's humanoid robot, become a reality.
Yah's people have been enslaved.
Strong young chap. Starting tomorrow we'll have you out in them crop fields.
Hundreds of years after the abolition of the slave trade, why are so many people still thought to be living in modern-day slavery?
One Pharaoh wants to make America a great place again.
On Tuesday, President Donald Trump signed a series of executive orders eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion.
In the year 2025, Donald Trump takes center stage once again as he embarks on his renewed mission to make America great again.
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Yah's laws have sought to be tampered with.
Bill, as amended, has passed.
Mr. President, what a great day.
I am very proud of being trans. That's a very significant part of my identity.
In a region where most nations continue to oppose gay rights, this is groundbreaking.
The children of Yah are being killed.
Well, you know, maybe I'm not objective when it comes to Planned Parenthood, but, you know, I know who Margaret Sanger is. And I know that she believed in eugenics and that she was not particularly enamored with black people. And one of the reasons that you find most of their clinics in black neighborhoods is so that you can find a way to control that population.
I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job.
But you're not black. Remember, we only kill black people.
The more they kill us, the more we reproduce. Now that Yah has opened our eyes, we should be able to see many more pharaohs around us and throughout the world. Just as Yah warned Pharaoh of old, he is also warning the sovereigns of today.
I have come to let you know, about midnight he will go through the land of Egypt, and wherever he goes, the firstborn son in every family will die. Your own son will die, and so will the son of the lowest slave woman. Even the firstborn males of your cattle will die. Everywhere in Egypt there will be loud crying. Nothing like this has ever happened before, or will ever happen again. But there won't be any need for the Israelites to cry. Things will be so quiet that not even a dog will be heard barking.
He was once one of George Zimmerman's most outspoken advocates, but now former Neighborhood Watch volunteer Frank Taffy says his opinion about Zimmerman's not guilty verdict has changed.
Absolutely. What I know of George and his tendencies, and also my opinion is that he racially profiled Trayvon Martin that night, because if that had been a white kid on a cell phone walking through our neighborhood, he wouldn't have stayed on him the way he did, and that's a fact, and I believe that in my heart. You know, I can only ask for the country to forgive me, and today I believe that he racially profiled him based on the color of his skin. I'm just working on me right now and getting right with God.
Taffy says his brother's death last month and the death of two of his sons over the past few years has changed him.
ABBA YAH hardened the heart of the Pharaoh to draw his chosen Yisrael back to him and to show who is in supreme control. And it's the same story that's happening today. People may think that a certain number of votes put the sovereigns in office. Well, Daniel chapter 2 and verse 21 states that Yah removes kings and that he sets them up. The Most High, Abba, is the only one in total control. He is the one who is hardening the hearts of the pharaohs today. He is the one doing all these things to draw his people back to himself. He is the one who destroyed Pharaoh and his armies of old. So, what do we think will happen to these pharaohs of today? Let's think about this for a moment. To all those who made it here today and walked with us on this straight talk, if you have begun to lose focus because of the dysfunction that is taking place around us, please keep in mind that Yah protected his chosen so that they were not affected by any of the plagues. The plants and animals of the Israelites were also not harmed. Let's take some time today, one-on-one with Yah, to read the book of Exodus, chapters 1 through 14 again, while allowing Abba to show us a deeper meaning as to why this message was left to his chosen sheep. Also, let's read the book of Joshua, chapter 1 through 4, to see the things that were going on 4,000 years ago and provoked Yah to flood the earth. We can pull this apocryphal book up online. We, the chosen sheep, are not to live in fear. But as Psalms 91 in verse 1 tells us, we are to live in Yah. We left some helpful links down below in the description box. Please feel free to leave a helpful comment. And remember to like, subscribe, and share this video. So the next time we walk alone and wonder why we are living here in the modern day Egypt, just remember, Yah says,
I am Yah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, so you would no longer be their slaves. I broke the yoke of slavery from your neck, so you can walk upright.
Shalom, and stay strong.